How you been?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm just I'm ready to I'm happy to be here, keeping busy, and ready to happy to be on your podcast.
And yeah, we've been trying to make this happen for a little while, and I'm so happy that you're on. And I guess I need to congratulate you. I guess you and Jen just wrapped, was it Doll Killer 3 over the weekend?
We did. It
How
was
was
a
that
lot of fun.
experience?
Thank you. Thank you. The adventures of Jen and Charles.
How was that? So were you in all three, or just the one, the most recent one of Doll Killer?
No, I'm just in the third one,
So
and
how did
I
that
think
come about? Did you know the director, or you just found out that it was being cast, or?
yeah. No, I actually worked with the director last year on a film called Apex Predators 2, The Spawning, which is a killer shark movie, or many killer sharks. And Jennifer Nangle is in that as well. She actually stars in that movie. And I guess when the director was looking to assemble his cast for, Dustin was assembling the cast for Doll Killer 3. He knows that Jen and I are best friends, and her character has like a trio as part of like a squad in Doll Killer 3, so it was a perfect casting.
That's
She cast
awesome.
me as one of her best friends.
I remember you saying a couple of weeks ago that it was like a dream come true that you had like been able to check that box, that you were able to do the vampire movie and then the killer shark movie.
Yeah, bucket list items.
So are there any other creature features or I guess horror genre stuff that you haven't done yet that you want to try, that it's on your list?
I've never been a werewolf. Never been a werewolf. Um, I've always wanted to play the trope. The I don't even know what you would call this trope, but I'm gonna call it the Zelda Rubenstein trope. The one like that comes in with the knowledge, that has the second sight, the gift, um, and they could use their gift to kind of help save, but they're there to warn right before the shit hits the
Oh
fan.
yeah. It's almost like I don't really see that too much anymore. It's almost like something like in a werewolf movie, there's like the gypsy character that comes
Yes.
in and she's always like, beware the full moon and stuff like that. They know they have the foreknowledge, or they came from another village in the story. But like Richard and I were just talking a couple weeks ago of it's so hard to do werewolf stuff because it's like unless you're just unless you're gonna do like Teen Wolf, where you have like a suit, like a regular suit, and then you just put on furry gloves and the hat, and you're like, I'm a werewolf now. So it's tough, man. I mean, I'm always down for like new ideas of figuring out how to do stuff. So he and I kind of figured that it's like sometimes it's best for that kind of stuff. It's like if they're kind of half in the shadow, because if you see like the full werewolf and it is like Teen Wolf, where it's like somebody has furry gloves and just a mask, you're like, ah.
Yeah.
So yeah, take me back a few years ago. Are you originally from LA? Were you born and raised in LA, or?
Yeah. I am actually an LA native. I was born in Santa Monica.
Oh
I lived
wow.
lived in Southern California pretty much my entire life. Um, at one point, I was living in the Bay Area for like my ninth grade year, but most of my entire life has been spent in Southern California.
Okay, so you kind
Um,
of grew up in this area. You grew up around the business and everything. So
yep.
how young were you when you got started, or do you even remember like your first play or your first audition of anything?
My first audition was when I was 11 years old, 10 or 11 years old, and it was for a movie called The Client.
Oh, the thriller, the elite
Yes,
thriller. Wow.
yes, it was for that, and it was a cattle call, it was a casting call, and I remember that my friend like got a call back. And I remember like not really caring because I just wanted to have fun, like, oh, I'm going to this thing or whatever. But when he got the call back, I cared.
Oh, super, right. You're super jealous, right?
Yeah, I didn't know I had it in me. And then that was that. I left it alone until high school. High school is when I started getting into plays. My first play in high school was The Odd Couple by
Oh,
Neil
very cool.
Simon. Yeah, or was it Neil Simon? Is that his name?
Yeah,
Neil
yeah.
Simon. Yeah, and and I did some extra work, in high school. I would ditch senior year, or I would ditch class, and literally me and my friend we would go shoot music videos all day long, and we would make it back sometimes by the end of the day. Uh, I was a background in American Pie 2
Oh,
at that time, and it was and then I kind of left acting. I think after my first year of college, took a break. I didn't know it was a break, but I kind of got advice from family members and just people in my life saying, hey, why don't you go get a degree that's going to make you money? And so I switched majors to psychology,
oh, cool.
and I had a career as a therapist. And then after that, I just decided at one point in my life that I was going to pursue the passion that I kind of put on hold for a little bit. And I've never looked back ever since.
I can only imagine that. I mean, that's a noble profession, and helping somebody work through their issues and everything. That's like we need therapists in our life. But I can only imagine if you were like sitting there, like now having not done the acting, and you're sitting there and you're talking to someone and you hear them talk about their day and their issues they're working through, and you've got the legal pad and the pen and in your mind. I'm like, oh, I really want to be at that audition right now. Like you're not being like an asshole or anything to blow off that person you're trying to help, but I can just imagine though if you were in that situation of just like you would have so much regret.
Well, and I also was a life coach,
Oh,
and so I was helping clients. Just people uh, pursue their passions. Pursue uh, rearrange their lives in the way they wanted it to be, and get closer to that vision that they had in their mind of how they wanted it to be, and I would help facilitate that, and and brainstorm about ways in which, and it's like, oh shoot, I should be doing that for myself. What parts of my life have I neglected?
you
And
know what though? Like sometimes it's so easy, and I'm sure you have friends and family that have told you this too. Like when you're in it, when you're just living your life and you're just kind of going along doing your thing, sometimes you don't. I call it kind of like being on the outside of the hurricane, where it's like you have so much going on in your life and drama and friends and family and work and all this stuff, and then it just takes that person that's like not involved with your day to day to be like, hey, did you ever notice this, or did you ever think about that? And you're like, what? You're crazy. And like, no, I'm not crazy. It's just you haven't thought about it yet. And then you think about it and you're like, oh God, you're right. It's true. It's true. It's happened to me like two or three times where I'm just going along doing my thing in my life, and then somebody that I just kind of know or an acquaintance, not somebody I even really hang out with, just might be like a friend of a friend. They were like, "Hey, have you ever thought about this or trying that?" And I'm like, "What?" I'm like, "You're crazy." And then I go home and I'm like, "Oh God, she's right. Fuck." So I need to know about this meeting of the minds of you and Jennifer Nangle, because you guys have been working on so much stuff together. How did that come about? Where did you guys meet?
God, oh my, I first of all, Jennifer Nangle. Jen is my best friend. Um, where we met, many past lives, I'm sure. Like it's we, it was instant. So okay, how we met and then when we really met are two different things. I met. Oh my God, yes. Okay, so I was doing a screening of a film that I was an associate producer on with my buddy Hunter Johnson, who directed the movie. It was called To Jennifer. It was a found footage sequel to a movie called To Jennifer with a T-O. Ours was To Jennifer with a number two. And we were promoting this like private screening because we didn't have distribution at the time. And it was just kind of some filmmakers to come out, check it out. What do you think? And just get a screening going for the film because we didn't know the future of it. And Jen hit us up. She hit me up in the DM. I think she hit him up in the DM asking, like, do you have any extra tickets? Can I come? I'm like, come, come. Sure, we'll have extra seats. So that's when I first met Jen. She came to support, and Jen was already a filmmaker, a director, actor, producer in her own right, having already had some films in the film festival circuit. So after the screening of To Jennifer, I got invited to her screening. Her film was playing at a festival, and her movie, her short film, Demonic Attachment.
Okay.
And I went to that screening, got to know Jen a little bit from there, but it wasn't until like maybe a year or two later when we were on the set of a movie called Irrational Fear, and that in Wisconsin. And Jen and I bunked together, and the rest was history. So like we were all staying at a cabin lake house in Wisconsin, and we already had some camaraderie, friendship going on or whatever. Like, you want to bunk with me? I'll bunk with you. And so we were literally sharing a bunk bed and keeping everybody in the room up all night long because we could not stop laughing at everything.
Awesome.
And then it was just the movie was really it was scheduled in a way that when people died in the film, they left literally. So the cast was dwindling and flying back to places. Like, so if the cast was there shooting up until the day of their character's demise, they would be wrapped and then they would fly back. And it was scheduled like that. And so it was like, and then there were three, And so Jen and I survived for days and days, and it just created our bond. And we knew that when we came back to LA that we were going to be friends for life. Like, we just knew, and we were. We literally, and now we support each other's projects. I want her in everything that I do. She wants me in the thing. We just love having each other around, and we just draw strength from each other. We know that the industry and the business already has its challenges, but better and more fun if you've got a circle and a tribe of people that you can trust, that have your back and have a very similar vision. Jen likes to work hard. I like to work hard. Jen likes to finish things and see things through. I like to finish things and see things through. Jen likes to organize. I like to organize. We have very similar work ethics when it comes to creating art, and we're also passionate about the arts. I'm trained in the Meisner technique, and so is Jen. Jen is a marvelous talent with a marvelous training.
Yeah, I've interviewed her on the podcast, and obviously we just made a film together, and I can't say enough nice things about her. I think even on when Richard and I went on Without Your Head podcast a couple weeks ago, I was just saying, like, I'm fairly new to the horror film community. I've worked on other projects, but this last like 2 years or so is just kind of like me kind of like wedging my way into the horror film community. And when I met her, it was just like, yes, it was like, yeah, like somebody who gets it, like somebody who wants to just make stuff and isn't like one of these actors that's just like, I'm gonna be a famous movie star. I'm like, yeah, you go sit at the little kids table. Like, I want to work with people that like want to make things and just get stuff done and like build a community and just I'm all about it. And when I met her, I was like, yes, definitely want to work with her, you know. And now that I've met you, I can definitely say the same thing. And I have to give you a huge shout out, and also the rest of the cast and the crew for filming Holly Hatchet 2 weeks ago. That you guys were so welcoming, not just to me, but to my daughter Amy, and that was like her first big experience being on a movie set. And even she didn't have any lines or anything, and she was very nervous, and she's not usually quiet and mousy like that. But she was like, "Don't I get to kill anybody?" Like, she was saying little things to like me and Julie and stuff, just like, I mean, it would be really unexpected if I jumped out and jumped on Holly. I'm like, yeah, but slow your roll, because Holly has literally, the title is Holly Hatchet. She's got hatchets. I don't know how close I want to you to hatchets, but like maybe it would be kind of funny to just jump on a leg and hold onto the leg or something. But she also, Amy said that she thought you were hilarious.
Oh, well, Amy did amazing, and Amy is right to go straight to the writer with the requests.
Oh,
Let me
I have another funny story about that. So I'd only met like certain people just in the course of leading up to body count, and just like interviewing people on the show. And the first time I met Richard is when we did the Without Your Head interview, and we're getting interviewed, and he's like, "Well, what do you think about this?" And when you guys started collaborating, and I was like, "We just started collaborating." But you're gonna find this really funny. So, and nicest guy. But that was on set in downtown LA. That's the first time I met Michael.
Yes. Oh my gosh, I love Michael.
But I come rolling in there straight from wherever we had been, and I'm wearing the dad khaki shorts and the 30 Days of Night t-shirt. And I walked up to him and introduced myself. I just said my first name, and I'm pretty sure like he took one look at me and he was like, "Stage dad" or whatever. And it wasn't until later, you're gonna die, dude. When we were having dinner, so like Amy's right next to me, and then Michael's on the other side of me, and across the table was Jen, and somebody else was talking. And then Julie comes up to me, and she's talking to me about working Amy and stuff, and if they need to put more fake blood and everything. And then Michael said something like, "Are they gonna keep talking to this guy? And why are they talking?" And then I saw Jen's eyes. Jen literally like was like, "Oh, let's all thank Eric for his wonderful script that he wrote for this that we're working." And Michael literally was just like, he had something in his hand. He's like, I. The nicest guy, but clearly he just thought. And I mean, I know I was dressed like a total typical stage dad coming right from the park or whatever, but that was just great because I mean, he never met me before. He had no idea. So I thought that was great. And then all of a sudden later he was like, "I'd like to hear about your podcast." So good, dude. But I love stuff like that. And then like I loved everybody was so collaborative.
Yes.
Can we give a huge? I know I've already interviewed her, but it's another thing to see somebody in action. Like, holy shit, Julia Hapney.
Yes.
Like,
Amazing.
I know, but it's like another thing to see it.
Amazing.
Dude, and your hand getting cut off. I mean,
Yeah.
how great did that look?
Amazing. It's all I'm saying is amazing. She's
And
amazing.
Amy thought it was really great too. And this is no detriment to you, but I think you had said maybe your fangs were a little bit too big for Holly Hatchet. Your fangs.
Was the first time I wore fangs, and
Oh
they
my God, man. I
they
know you were
didn't
trying,
use
you were going for laughs and stuff, but we were just dying. We were like, that's a great example of somebody like overcoming like something that's uncomfortable and getting a laugh out of it. And that was like major props to you.
Hey.
So hopefully, I was kind of bummed that we had to leave, but I had, she's 13. I had to get her home and everything. But you guys, what did you wrap at like 1 o'clock in the morning or something for Holly Hatchet?
I did not stay that late. I was wrapped. Gosh, I didn't definitely was not the last to wrap. They were all still there even after I left. But yeah, they went late. It was a long shoot. It was a big shoot, and I think that the result is going to be fantastic. I think it's going
Oh
to be.
yeah. Have you? Here's a question for you. Have you worked at that studio before? Because I'd never even heard of it. For at Monarch Studio, downtown LA. Have you filmed there before?
Yes.
Okay, so I looked at their site and I think they're not even a year old, are they?
I don't know.
Yeah, they haven't been around that long, so I would definitely go there again. So, um, what are your some of your favorite locations to film horror films at? Are there certain areas around LA, Orange County that you've used more than once that you like to go? Because I know you're a filmmaker as well.
Any chance that I get to film outside of LA is fun, and um, by that I mean like a woods location, a forest location, a lake location. Like I mentioned, Wisconsin, which is where me and Jen truly like uh, formed our friendship. Was literally in the middle of nowhere at a lake house in Wisconsin. I shot a zombie movie in the middle of the woods in one of the coldest winters in December, and that was a lot of fun. And it was raining, and that was a lot of fun. Uh, I've done, I've done some really scary reality TV shoots in the middle of like orange fields in Fresno, California, and those were terrifying, but also a lot of fun. So, uh, you know, I've shot at my place a couple of times, and I love it for a different reason, just because it's here, and I don't have to go anywhere. So that's always fun. But I think the on location shoots, you know, they do something to the performances that you can't capture, that you just capture differently when
Oh,
you're
yeah, I would agree with that. I would agree that, if you're at some dilapidated farmhouse, 50 miles from anything, you have no choice but to feel the environment and feel secluded. And that really heightens the tension, the terror, you know. So here's a fun question for you. So, what are some interesting acting experiences you've had where things maybe didn't go right? Don't have to say the movie or anything or your character, but I'm always interested of like if a director came up to you and it's like last minute and they're like, yeah, so Charlie, we're gonna like hang you upside down from this tree and we're gonna swing you on a bungee and then the guy's gonna come up with the chainsaw and you'll just bounce off the chainsaw and it's like whoa. So anything like that where it's like last minute, you're the stunt performer also kind of situation.
all the time. Well, let's talk about body count. Um, the first segment in body count, which for anyone listening, body count is a horror anthology produced, created, starring Jennifer Nangle with 5 scary tales, and it's going to be so good. And yeah, Indiegogo link. Go support the film. The
We
first
will
segment in
say
it.
the link to the Indiegogo the GoFundMe. We'll put that at the end, and we'll put that in the description so
Yes.
everybody can see that. So
Great. So the first segment is called "Let Them Eat Cake." That's the first segment we shot.
was that written by you?
That was written by me. That was written by me. Which I was.
Where did you get the idea for that? I'm curious about that.
Gosh, I don't know actually. I just started writing
Tell
something.
everybody kind of the premise maybe, and that'll kind of explain itself a little bit.
Well, the premise. Well, before I get to the premise, I want to answer your first question, which
Okay.
was, have I been in a situation where maybe something has happened in the heat of the whatever, right? And I had to roll with it. In Let Them Eat Cake, there is a scene where there is a scuffle. There's a choreography, kind of a choreography takedown of some of the characters, without spoiling it. And that wasn't choreographed until literally the day of, like right then and there. So, not calculating for the size of my space in the living room, I think I think I was falling on top of people, or they were falling on top of me. And I'm pretty sure to get the shot, the camera DP was on top of us. So I think it was a three-tiered uh, tiramisu.
On, yeah.
So, anyways, so that's that, and I love it. I love rolling with the punches, especially with friends. It's always easier. But Let Them Eat Cake, without giving too much away, there is an intervention. There are three friends who are planning a baking party, and they're expecting Esther, played by Jennifer Engel, and they are planning an intervention. Esther has been very naughty. Esther has been sabotagey, and Esther has betrayed them all on the deepest level of friendship. So you've got an intervention, you've got betrayal, and you've got baked goods. You've got a baking.
It's a win for everybody. So yeah, I saw the behind the scenes shots. It looks like you guys had a lot of fun with that. That was shot about a month ago or so.
It was shot in July.
July. Wow, 3 months ago. Wow.
I can't believe it. And it was such an easy shoot. It was so much fun. It was so.
It was the one location, right?
One location.
Awesome. Well, so tell us about some other films that you've worked on, that you've written and or directed. I mean, dude, no offense, but your IMDb is so extensive and so impressive. I'd prefer to just kind of like cherry pick and let you talk about it, because otherwise I'm just going to be reading a list.
Well, I don't take offense to that. It's
a huge compliment. It was just like, we only have so much time, and my God, look at this list.
It just means I'm ADHD.
It's impressive, man. Go ahead.
It means I'm ADHD, and I just have to just keep making stuff.
The film at 11. Charles doesn't sleep.
I directed a film called 4, and
okay.
I wrote it. And it's about a coven of witches who are trying to reverse a spell by midnight that went wrong, or
cool.
have to reverse it. And Jennifer plays the high priestess of the coven. I play Christopher, and something goes wrong at the stroke of midnight. And I directed 2 parts to that. There's 4 part 1 and 4 part 2. And it was inspired by shows like Charmed, Buffy the Vampire Slayer, and The Chilling Adventures of Sabrina. And I really like supernatural horror and fantasy horror, and just creating a world that feels like it could exist, but it also only exists like in a fantasy place. And so a lot of my films kind of have that. And yeah, I had a lot of fun shooting that, and I shot and directed, I believe, 5 films in the last year.
All shorts or features?
All shorts.
Yeah, awesome. I guess this is always a touchy subject with actors, because I'm not really sure exactly what you're allowed to say or talk about. So what finished projects can you tell us that you have, kind of either coming out on streaming or festivals? I'm not kind of sure where in the process a lot of that stuff is.
So I have a few projects. Well, right now there is a project out, I believe, already on streaming, and it's called Sawed Off. No, actually, it comes out October 11th.
11? Okay.
Yeah, and it is directed by Hunter Johnson, and I am involved in that film. You can catch Jennifer Engel and myself starring in a film called Lilith, now streaming on Tubi.
Okay.
I'm in a film called Barry that's out right now, I think also on Tubi. And there is a film that I'm really excited about called 16 Bits. And it's about a video game character that comes to life. And he tries to apply video game logic in our current world. And it's also a horror film. And so it's got a lot of nostalgia. The movie is, I can't wait for you guys to see it. It literally looks like a freaking like 90s video game, straight out of Double Dragon. Um,
That's awesome.
it's insane. There are so many special effects in that film, and I can't wait for people to see it.
Very, very cool. So I guess, uh, is there anything that you haven't tried in terms of filmmaking that in the future you kind of want to test your hand at? Because I kind of imagine if you've written and directed, but I know you've kind of helped out with, the producing of, Body Count and also Malvolia. But I mean, is there anything you've ever thought of? And maybe you have. I don't know if you've done any costuming or prop making or anything on that level that you haven't thought about before, like special effects, whether it's practical. I don't know anybody who does digital effects, so maybe that's something that you do or wanted to or try.
I love it. I'm obsessed with editing right now, and I'm obsessed with digital effects. And I just shot a film called The Offering, starring Jennifer Nagle, and I used the film as an
I see a
experiment.
pattern here. No, go ahead.
I know, starring Jennifer Nagle, and I used it as an experiment. And this is what I love about Jen. I'm like, okay, look, friend, I'm gonna just, do this short. You want to be in it? I'd love for you to be in it, but I also need you to also just.
I just picture her like with her phone being like just getting off the phone from you, and then you're calling back, and she's like, "Yes, Charles." I'm like, "Okay, but this other movie idea," and she's like, "I'll do it. Just whatever.
I'll do it.
I'll do it. It's fine. Just let me sleep."
Yes. And she agreed to do it. And like I said, it's an experiment. I wanted to be behind the camera. I wanted to actually shoot it myself, edit it myself, and try my hand at visual effects.
Oh, cool.
I did that.
Awesome.
And that was fun, and I learned a lot. And I'm going to continue to treat these films as a gym class.
Very smart, very smart. So we've got a few minutes here before we wrap it up. I want to remind people that Body Count is going to be shooting for months and months. There are still several of the stories, anthology stories to be filmed. Do you know that what the next one's going to be after Holly Hatchet?
I don't.
Okay,
I actually don't.
I don't know if you have the inside track, but that's still going to be happening. So the GoFundMe is still very much alive and going. And like I said, we are going to post a link in the description. I'll put a little Taylor here at the end of the video. So where can people find your stuff online? Do you have a website?
My films that I wrote and directed can be found at my YouTube channel. Just
Okay.
my full name, Charles Chudabala, and it's literally just the films that I directed. I try my best to promote and announce kind of where the films that are out are, but I think if you do go to like my IMDb at Charles Chudabala on IMDb, most of the films, by clicking on them, will show kind of like available on Amazon Prime or available on Tubi. It's even a lot for me to keep up with because sometimes
there's so much stuff that's in different various stages of development. It's kind of
yes, exactly. And
when I saw your laundry list of credits, I was like, I'm not gonna know.
Well,
I'm just gonna have to ask. I mean, there was so much stuff that didn't even have a date. That was just like being worked on. I was like, so I guess my question is about that stuff. If people were going to contact you about whether it's acting or writing for future projects or how to get a hold of you, is there an agency you go through, or is it just something through like Facebook or Instagram or IMDb? I mean, what's your preferred method of contact like that?
yeah, I will take inquiries in the DMs. I will take them in the DMs. Instagram. Instagram is also linked to my email as well. You can also click on that. And my Instagram is Charlie Chuda, CharlieChudah, and then as well as Facebook Messenger as well. I take inquiries through Facebook Messenger also.
Awesome. So, what is next for you in the immediate future here as we kind of wrap up? I think you're wrapped on Holly Hatchet, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're wrapped on that. So you just did Doll Killer 3. That just wrapped like Sunday, right? You have stuff on later this week. I mean, I don't know, man. I don't even think you sleep. So
You know what? No, I mean right now I'm busy writing. I am writing another short, and I'm actually getting ready to write my feature film too. So that is where my energy is going. I am producing an action thriller next month called Bang Bang Betty.
Very cool.
So I'm
I've
producing
heard the
that.
name.
Yeah, and
Awesome.
but busy writing my feature. It's time. I'm ready to do it.
Well, my God, you've got so much experience, and not that there's ever such a thing as too much experience, but yeah, I just wanted to say, man, I had such a great time on set with you guys a couple weeks ago. So nice to finally meet everybody. You guys were so welcoming, and I'm really looking forward to Body Count getting done, getting out there, getting all the awesome bloody raves it deserves. And I also think too, and I don't mind doing this on your interview, is saying that there's so many people have not yet discovered Jennifer Nangle, and I think when they do, it's just going to be like the world's not ready, man. Like the things that she can do, and she's such a great collaborator, and
Yes.
just nothing but the best for her, man. And I'm really impressed with everybody. So thank you so much for being on the show. Like I said, we will put everything about Body Count here for the
Yes.
GoFundMe. So all right. Well, I'm exhausted just talking to you about your continuing career because, like I said, I still think you don't sleep, but whatever. Maybe you just have energy drinks in your veins. I don't know, but I'm impressed, man. And thank you so much for being on the show, man. It was great.
Thanks for having me, Eric. Seriously, thank you so much. Thanks for writing a killer script.
Thank you. Thank you for rocking it. All right. Enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you so much. Bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Yep.